August the 17th, 2020. Guys, a couple of things I want to talk about in this video. Of course, one is the information from the National Hurricane Center, and I want to go to the 5-day forecast because that's 5 days out and these things will be getting a lot closer. But the front storm disturbance number 1 is at a 50% chance of cyclone formation. Disturbance number 2 now is at a 70% chance of formation within 5 days. And they're both a little different, both interesting. The first one, this is a tropical wave approaching the Windward Islands, is producing a large area of disorganized shower and thunderstorm activity. The disturbance is moving westward at about 20 miles an hour and expected to continue to move quickly westward over the eastern and central Caribbean Sea during the next couple of days, which is likely to limit significant development. After that time, however, the system is expected to move slowly westward across the western Caribbean, where upper-level winds could become more conducive for the development of a tropical depression during the latter part of the week. Regardless, heavy rain, winds along portions of the Windward and southern Leeward Islands through Thursday morning. Now, this one is interesting to me because where you see the X there, that's southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands, but just behind it is, or excuse me, just in front of it is another low pressure system that has not been marked. But what they're talking about here, they're saying this tropical wave over the eastern tropical Atlantic is forecast to interact with another disturbance located several hundred miles southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands within the next day or two. That's to the left of where the red X is. This interaction is expected to lead to the formation of a broad area of low pressure, and conditions are forecast to be conducive for the development of a tropical depression during the middle to latter part of this week, while the system moves westward to westward at 15 to 20 miles an hour across the central and western portions of the tropical Atlantic, guys. So again, as we look at the satellite images, you can see there's kind of a row of storms here, and these two merging will develop into a larger low pressure system. And if you look at both the Canadian model and the Navy models, they're interesting tracks too, and that's why we're going to have to really pay attention to this. Guys along the coast, make sure you got backup power, and there may be some evacuations before this is over with. We'll take a look at those models. We know they will change, but in the last system that came up through the Carolinas, guys, Isaias, the Navy model had it spot on where it hit the land. Even though it varied from day one, left and right, it ended up going over where the Navy originally said, at the North and South Carolina borders in that area. And it was the closest. Canadian model was right with it. We're going to look at both of those. First, let's look at the satellite imaging. First, right in the center, starting to come across the islands now, is disturbance number 1 right there. Then here is disturbance number 2, and it's expected to catch up with the second area of low pressure right here. And when that happens, they're talking about it merging again with a much wider area of low pressure, and that makes for larger and stronger storms. Now let's take a look at 2 of the models. Now first, let's take a look at NavGem, the Navy model. Again, very accurate. What we're seeing is that both systems forming about the same time coming up next week. The system number 1 strengthening very quickly and coming ashore along the Mississippi and Alabama line. Of course, the way that New Orleans juts out into the Gulf at that point, guys, all of this is connected. And let me say this. We're seeing the second storm setting here. Now, disturbance number 2. That's the one that's supposed to couple with the other low pressure system. It's about at this point where the models stop that it's getting into the warmest waters, and that's where we saw Isaiah strengthen and many other storms. And you guys that are familiar with these storms, especially in August, they have a way of coming in pairs. A lot of times the first one may be a tropical storm or Cat 1, and the second one will come blasting in there much more powerful. Now, again, remember what we're looking at here. This is by August the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 25th, well ashore. So by the 24th, guys, this thing will be so close that you want to be either bugged out or really battened down. But we know they're going to change. We know, especially when it gets into the Gulf of Mexico, they like to make that hard right turn. Guys, we're watching it. I've got another update coming up tonight. I've got some other information I'd like to share then. When we get this up, it's a heads up. Be safe.